Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, everyone. Good morning, golden morning, diamond morning. We are
Om
very
Shanti.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti. We are very happy to welcome you all. And we are welcoming you all because we are welcoming Dr. Prashant. We are here together because Dr. Prashant accepted our invitation and he has joined with us to share very wonderful aspect of our life. We all know that we live our life based on the level of our consciousness. But sometimes people said, what is consciousness? And to live life is consciousness. In a very simple level, we can say, we are conscious being and we have different interpretation, different definition of it. So I will not go too much in detail because that's what Dr. Prashant is going to offer to us. But I would say Dr. Prashant is a very, very long time practitioner of meditation. He is by profession ENT surgeon, and he has conducted classes and workshops and seminars in almost entire world. So I can describe his so many qualities in detail, but I think it is being sensible not to go in detail because he himself is a wonderful example. And while we will be listening to him, we will have a wonderful journey with him. So I will just invite Dr. Prashant and I will invite you all, if you can unmute yourself, your audio or video, and you can wave. Who would like to do that? Very good, very good. I'm happy everybody is unmuting oneself. Very good.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti.
Om
Shanti,
Shanti.
Dr. Prashant.
Om Shanti.
Welcome,
Shanti.
Dr. Prashant. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Hansa. So nice to
Yes.
connect with Sacramento again.
Yes, Dr. Prashant, one good thing is, sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Prashant has visited us. It was late 90s, I think, right? Or early 2000, something like that.
Yes, few times, and always sweet memories.
Yes, right. Times, right. So, okay, right.
Just want to make one request, Hansa Ben. I have joined with two addresses, and one name is Prashant. If I can be made co-host, then I can use the whiteboard.
Of course.
The ID of Prashant, that has to be made co-host.
Sorry, it just little bit went out of my slide. But okay, Prashant. Oh. Okay. Okay, are you, I did it Cambridge. I'm not seeing Prashant, 1 minute. I saw it in the beginning.
It's at the very bottom of the list because it's not joined with audio. So it should maybe be the last one on the list.
Prashila, Pradeep, Pyare Baba. Okay.
At the bottom.
Oh, the bottom. Okay. Yes, I got it. Thank you. Okay, you are co-host now, brother. Okay, very good. Thank
Doesn't
you.
look.
I hope this is
Yes,
going to
yes,
work.
yes, it is.
Perfect. Thank you. And as you all know, this will be, you can receive the YouTube of the recording of this, okay? Now I will mute myself and I will.
Isn't it whiteboard?
Mhm. We can arrange this.
Yeah, maybe she could speak a bit and then I can arrange.
Yeah, we will arrange a whiteboard option. It appears that there is no whiteboard option in this, but we'll arrange one. So hello, and I know it is good morning for you. It is already evening and it is dark here. It is nearing 7 p.m. And so so nice to connect with the morning of yours. This is such a beautiful subject. Consciousness itself is so nice. One nice quote by Einstein: "In the consciousness that created problem, that consciousness cannot solve it. We need a different perspective, different angle." And but why are we doing all this? Why do we want to change the consciousness? And why do we want to know this new consciousness? And you have chosen a nice topic. Novel means it is like a extraordinary, radical. That is what you are looking for. So why do we want this? One nice story with Socrates. Once one young man comes to Socrates and asks him, "Should I get married?" He didn't want to take that decision lightly, so he went to the wisest man of that time, and that is Socrates. And so when Socrates was asked this, Socrates thinks for a while, and then he says, Socrates, his advice to this young man, in either case, you will suffer. Whether you may get married or you don't get married, you will suffer in either case. And that describes our mindset at present, that human beings suffer regardless of their achievements. And the one nice interview with John Lennon, I heard this interview. It was taken in 1976, and audio at that time. And in this interview, he says, "My life is a torture. It is torture. And someone else releases music, he says, I suffer. And someone does something, someone says something, life is a torture." Now here is a man who had success. Not many people can claim success on the scale that John Lennon had. And he says life is a torture. So definitely we need to question what is going on in our head, in our life, and some change is required. So I'm going to use the whiteboard, and let us see how we can set this up, whiteboard.
Remember, it takes picture. That's how you remember.
Yes.
And then you can get it back, I think, in the folder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's this? Here. Yes, yes. Yeah, that's perfect. So it is not a Zoom board, but a different board. So here we are, let us try and understand our old consciousness first. And to understand old consciousness, I am going to represent our world by this image. Let us say this box here represents our world. And this box comes with the label. And the label is, make a guess, what is the label? Unpredictable. I'm talking here, this box represents our world. That means our city is in that, everyone that we know is in that box, and objects, everything of our life is here in this box. And it comes with the label unpredictable. It is, we don't know what is to happen next second, next minute. And it is unpredictable everywhere. Nature of this world is like this. I don't know what is to happen to this body in the next second, and what is going to happen to this town. And then the larger government systems and custom things. It is, nature is this. Now imagine if there is an airline that is unpredictable. You don't know. They tell you upfront. It is unpredictable. Departure and arrival. You don't, no guarantee. If you want to buy, you buy the ticket. Otherwise, don't. So there is no problem really if something is unpredictable, as long as I am left alone, then there is no problem. I'm quite happy to see what is happening to this airline. But if I get into a bondage, then it becomes my problem. If I buy a ticket there, then I will be worrying, will there be a flight? Will it be there on time? Will I arrive on time? You will be worrying about. If some person is unpredictable and he is in his home, you are in his home, it is not a problem. But if you create a bondage, if you have asked him to do something for you, then it will become a problem. So now let us come to this, our world. So this is like an extraordinary big word, and it comes with this label, unpredictable, upfront. And what is our present perspective? We define ourselves based on things of this world. And so that's what we call ego or identities. We define ourselves. Our idea of I is based upon things here. For example, this I may be based upon the body, another I based upon the job, another I may be based upon the car. We define ourselves based on these things in a small way or a big way, but we give birth to ourselves. Someone may define himself, herself based upon children. I'm the mother of these clever children, or in some way, in some form. It is not uncommon. Someone creates an identity based on the dog also. It can go anywhere, religion and country and town, but it is all within the box. Can you imagine when you are defining yourself based on this totally unpredictable world, and what kind of mind you will experience? With this kind of life, our mind becomes, what happens to our mind? Mind becomes one where there is constant panic. There is subconscious panic. Because you are not in control. And you are, dependent upon everything here. If the job goes, it is not just job goes, something in me will die. This is why the panic is. This I is going to die. Sometimes it has happened, someone else dies and this person is crying. It is not just other person died, but the identity also dies. And like say, if I have defined myself based on the other person, wife, husband, something like this, then your identity also dies. So during lifetime, there is subconscious panic. And this is constant. When we are having such a life, what happens? Our mindset becomes one of a beggar. Because we think we need some little praise, a little bigger hat, bigger car, that will make me feel good, secure. I have to address this panic that is going on. And another mindset that comes with this is a victim mindset. I'm a potential victim. Someone can just say one word and poor me, I am the victim. Or they may say something, they may do something, poor me. And one can be king and a president, but this is the consciousness everyone is in at the present time. Externally, there is all this going on. They may have big labels and titles and palaces, but at a deep level, consciousness is one of ego. Those identities are ego. And each ego is in the mindset of a beggar all the time. Constantly he wants more. And constantly he feels he's a potential victim. Beggar, victim, these are the lowest denominations in any society. And when one adopts the mindset of a beggar, mindset of a victim, we are choosing the lower quality of life. We have the option. This is not our only option. Feel free if you want to say anything, add anything, feel free. You want to say anything?
It's getting interested, so I think I would better listen to you than I want to add some point, but I think after you finish your yours, because it's really getting interested, and I'm really into it. So I would rather like you to continue.
Sure. But I would like to hear your immediate comment or question.
No, I actually I saw something on social media, and as you were saying right now, that came in my mind. Like, so if you tell people there's a truth which is hurtful, and if you tell people if you lie people about some comfort, most of the people they skip the line that's telling the truth, and they always go to the line where there is lie, but it's comforting lie. So we always look for comfort rather than the truth. That's what I was having in my mind when you were saying about our mind and unpredictability. That came to my mind.
Sure. So then this is like a nice. So we saw this one consciousness, and if I'm to come back to our world again, and So this world, as we said, the unpredictable world. And normally, the perspective is the ego perspective, we said. We have the option. And the option is perspective from beyond, outside of this box. How is it possible for us? We are in the house, and can I have a perspective from beyond? And the answer is yes. Imagine there is a guest who comes to your house, and someone else says, this house, I don't like the shape of this house. I don't like the carpet. I don't like anything in this house. Guest, it doesn't take the offense. Guest will hear it, and guest doesn't mind what he said. It may be right or maybe wrong, but he remains friendly. Because guest may be in the house, but his perspective is from beyond. So that is so beautiful. Now, same is possible for us. And that is where the soul consciousness comes in. And what is the perspective here for us? We say we are guests on this planet, and we have an exit. And do you agree? Do we have an exit? And are we guests? Okay, let me ask another way. Has anyone got plans to stay here forever? If you are not making those plans, then we all are guests and we have an exit. It is not a bad thing. It is only for the ego, and any change and end bothers the ego. Whereas when we are free from ego, you realize that we are temporarily here and we got a journey and we got an exit, no problem. So at present, we have the option to experiment with the perspective of a guest. Guest on this planet, guest in this world. Now, guest is agreed, but this guest knows that he doesn't own anything from here. Any guest, moment you know you are a guest, you know you don't own anything. This guest knows that he doesn't own a single atom from here, which is great, which means he doesn't lose anything. That's why he's carefree. So not one atom from here can belong to him. Then we cannot define him based on anything of this world. If he's a guest, we cannot define him, create an image based upon the body or based upon some house. He's a guest. But more accurately, because he is not having any bondage anywhere, we can call him invisible guest. Such a beautiful insight here for us. So when we are using the language soul consciousness, it is the most powerful method that is available to this planet Earth, all human beings, to remove ego. Otherwise, there is no method anywhere in the world where they have option to remove ego. Ego just gets bigger. Nature of ego is he constantly wants more. He thinks he can solve his subconscious panic by getting bigger. That's why he wants more in a bigger head and bigger car, bigger job, bigger title. And he thinks that will make him secure. But what really happens, ego gets bigger, and bigger ego is bigger beggar. Bigger the ego, there is bigger the victim. So that mindset gets worse. See the lifeline of all dictators in history from any corner of the planet, all the dictators. As time progresses, their misery just gets worse. And what happens, with all the dictators? The ego just gets bigger and bigger. It is like a full, nourishment for the ego in this kind of positions. And then bigger the ego, there is a bigger the sorrow. Why John Lennon says life is a torture? He himself says in that interview, it is because of ego. Very interesting. He had sense to understand this. He says life is a torture, and then next line he says it is because of ego. And so it is not just few people got ego. We all are in this trap of the ego. If we call it lower consciousness, but there is an option. It has to be done accurately. We said soul consciousness, and here we are using the language invisible guest. So for 1 minute, a person sees the perspective of the guest, let us say. Just for 1 minute, he sees himself a guest, invisible guest. Let us experiment right now. In it, literally what we are doing, avoid the language of I, see the invisible guest visiting this planet, is associated with all this, and he has an exit, he's going to come out. He's the invisible traveler. He's carefree. He's light about things. He's relaxed about things. For him, every moment appears like a gift, just like a tourist. For tourist, everything appears nice. So also for this invisible guest, he's not a victim. Because he has not created any bondage, he feels nothing there can harm him. He remains the same at the end of his journey. So he is never a victim, never a beggar. He doesn't need anything from that place. Invisible guest is the invisible traveler, and he is the invisible observer. Very amused. He finds every moment is a gift, every experience is a gift, every interaction is a gift. Excellent. So during this minute, what we experienced is a perspective that is from beyond. It's an ego-free perspective, egoless stage. What happens at a deeper level? We are moving up the spiral. 1 minute is not going to bring about big change, like say if we have been spending our lifetime feeding this lower consciousness. 1 minute is not going to bring about shift, or one talk is not going to bring about a shift, but we have changed the direction, and that is very positive. When Tony Blair was the prime minister here, one time he changed the policies. So all of a sudden, I think it is educational policies, suddenly got changed. So the reporters asking him, what is this? You had sort of one position and suddenly overnight you change the policies. And Prime Minister, his answer was, if you realize you are in the wrong direction, make a U-turn now. Don't be stubborn and go for another 10 miles in the wrong direction, then you'll have to waste another hour to find way back. You realize you're in the wrong direction, make a U-turn. And I realized, I felt this person I can trust. He thinks sensibly. So for us at present, we are in this direction. Ego takes us in a downward spiral. Everyone wants more in that box. And that ego is getting bloated in the process and getting trapped in that unpredictable world. And so to take a step, change the direction, then you get full marks. Because now you understand the answer is in opposite direction. That is what you realize. So 1 minute, but it is a very special minute. But during this minute, the invisible guest is now waking up, and there is hope now. You understand the answer to this real riddle of mind. You know, this is for everyone on the planet. We are showing it in the image of a spiral because one step leads to the next step. It is in that sense. As an example, say you are to climb up a mountain near your town. I'm sure in Sacramento you must be having many mountains in that area. If you walk for 5 minutes and then turn back, you can see your city better. You walk for another 10 minutes, turn back, you will be able to see the city even better. As you go higher, you are able to see the place with clear. You can see your houses, church, where the cathedral is. But now that you have gone 10 minutes, 15 minutes up the mountain, from there you can see the next step more clearly. You cannot plan that from the base camp 1, but now that you have gone there, that helps you to take the next step. Same happens here. There is a lot to experience and explore. We start the process and you go up, up the spiral, and from there you continue to see the world better. There's a lot more clarity now, and you are also understanding the next step. What happens as a result? You are discovering a mind that is free from panic. It is an extraordinary thing. In this, in our life, there are certain things that are very important. As we said, we want to be happy and we want to feel secure. These are our deep needs. We can't compromise these needs easily. Now, this box is an issue, and this is an area which we have to deal with. If I was to see, we have to come back to this box again maybe. So let us see this same world I'm representing here. And 100% of our sorrows are because of this box. Not 99%, 100% of us, all kinds of sorrows. It can be boredom and anxiety and disappointments, anything inauspicious is because of this. 100% of our desperations and desires are connected with this box. 100% of our ego are connected with this box. 100% of our vices are connected with this box. If we have a wrong attitude towards it, we get all of this. That is what we call lower consciousness. And no surprise, that is what creates Iron Age. Kali Yuga is because of this. If we have a right attitude towards this and get it right completely, we are experimenting is one thing, and then you get the attitude right. Then you are in that in the world. We don't want to run away from this, but you are discovering the mind that is free from all of this. That's why Baba can promise us in the golden age of mankind. The golden age is not because of golden palaces, golden age because mind that is free from vice, mind that is Icha matram avidya, free from desperations and desires, free from sorrows. Baba can promise it is like that. And free from ego. There is a method, and we can see the cause of all this. And cause is we just got a wrong attitude towards this world. It is almost like upside down. You recently Baba has been using the word Ullu and Allah, children of Allah. So we are upside down. Ego is like Ullu. Yeah, you might like to say anything, add anything.
Shanti, Prashant.
Hi.
Is it possible if you could just go back to the previous sketch and little bit more explain about the spiral which was going down into the box? What was the?
Yes, who is speaking?
This is Poonam.
Yes, appeared, sound was familiar. Hi, Poonam.
Hello.
Yes, okay. Let me give an example. I am a guest. I visit a certain place, certain house, and I'm there in the house. I am sitting on a chair, and I start saying, "This is my chair." And I got reason because I touched that chair before anyone else. So it is my chair. So I am putting my label there, my. But moment I put a label my, I also feel a bit insecure because I can lose that chair. And someone else may touch that chair. Someone else may take that chair. I'm feeling insecure now. I'm just a guest, but I'm now a bit worried. So what is my clever answer? If I have one more chair, that will be a good backup in case I lose one. So now I got two chairs, one to sit, another is a backup. Is problem solved? Problem is not solved because now I can lose two. So I'm more insecure now. So what is my clever answer? If I get two more, that might solve it. Because I have to collect two more chairs and that will make me very secure. So I got another two, and now I got four chairs. I should feel secure. But deeper level, I feel I can lose four. I'm feeling more insecure. So this is what we mean by this downward spiral. You are all the time on more. You are trying to attain security, but you are getting trapped in an insecure box in the process. And Poonam, want to add anything?
So to feel secured and still remain a guest, what should be the practice?
Sure. For 1 minute, like this example I gave, if he creates in him just for 1 minute the awareness that he is actually a guest. He doesn't need to own anything there. And when he goes out, he loses nothing. He doesn't need anything from there. He's a guest. And he has got his world beyond. Once he understands it, this whole artificial insecurity that is created, it drops. And he feels just like any other person, any tourist. Tourist doesn't own anything, but they enjoy more. Who enjoys Sacramento more? Local people or tourists? California, people go all the way to California. Who enjoys more? Local people or tourists? Tourists enjoy more. And the reason is they are not in the spiral. They enjoy sky, they enjoy everything, the bridge and some roads, they feel everything is so nice. They take photographs because they enjoy, that's why they take photographs. The same here, we can have that attitude without going anywhere. We are truly tourists on this planet. Now that is, in theory, we understand it, but at a practical level, we can create that awareness for 1 minute now that I'm talking here the soul. Soul is a tourist. Soul is a guest on this planet, and he doesn't own a single atom here on this planet. He doesn't need to. And he has an exit. And the moment he comes in that space, he finds there is nothing to lose. And then everything appears like a gift. Every moment appears like a gift. Maybe for 1 minute, but all good habits and bad habits start somewhere. And we are just introducing a seed of the good habit. But that seed takes us to the highest consciousness. Poonam, want to add anything?
Very clear. Thank you so much. Very helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Anything else anyone would like to add? I like the discussion format, but feel free.
Oh, Shanti, brother. This is Rebecca.
Hi.
Hi. I'm just wondering what the box itself, is that just the world of impermanence?
Yes.
Or is that what that is? Okay.
Which is the world around us. This is what so within this world, we said people, position, possessions, everything is here. Everyone I know is within this. The world that we know. But we are saying the world that we know, that world is not permanent and it is unpredictable. Such is the nature of that world. And we need a right attitude towards this world. So if I am to come to our that mind where attitude is of a guest, so for 1 minute you played with that attitude, invisible guest, invisible traveler. associated with everything. And for him, that moment is a gift, the next moment is a gift. Thank you, bye-bye. That is, during that minute you are experiencing this. But most fascinating is during that minute you are experiencing full security. Soul is secure. We had one student here, in the university. She's doing postdoctorate, and she said she had just come for once or twice. I met her, and third time she came, she said she observed something very interesting. She used to get nervous during her presentations, and that used to spoil her presentation. She used to get into some kind of a panic. This time, after she has heard some ideas, she said she was doing a presentation. At the beginning, she created the thought in herself that it might go wrong, the whole thing might go wrong, but soul is safe. she reminded herself, just this one sentence, soul is safe, soul will be the same and is not harmed. And the moment she brought this thought in her mind, the soul will be safe, she realized that it stopped that reaction of panic completely. And she was able to perform completely differently according to her. Just one sentence, that I'm safe. What used to happen before? Something she felt, someone may not agree with it, and the ego felt panic. Ego felt, I am going to be humiliated here. And once that reaction starts, you felt all of you is insecure. She broke that cycle just by saying, I am fully safe here. Same happens here. Soul is safe. And that is what you are realizing. Invisible guest, he's safe. He loses nothing. Everything else may go, but he loses nothing. So his security is not based on that box. And when anyone is secure, it brings out the best in you. Only a secure person experiences peace. Since this security is absolute, it is not security based upon how much gold you have and based upon some position in the company or based on the head. It is absolute security. It is saintly security, security of the soul. And so peace is absolute. It is not up and down based upon the behaviors of other people. When a person is secure, that brings you into the state of happiness. You're happy when you're secure. Only a secure person can love. If someone makes you insecure, you will find your love becomes less. Have you noticed this? You will find, it says you are loving. If there are 10 people, if you feel less love somewhere, the only reason is they make you feel some level, some insecure feeling. That is in an ordinary life. Can you see this? Let me ask another question. Why do we love children more? Say if you are in a gathering and there is some adults and one little child, you immediately feel more love towards seeing that little child. Why? Have you thought about this? Why do we love children more?
Because they are in the soul conscious stage.
Sure.
And
Innocent.
yeah,
Okay. So why do we love someone who is innocent? Why should we love them more?
he has no malice in the heart.
Yes, good. And another reason, the deeper reason, they make me feel secure.
Yeah.
The adult, they may not make me feel secure. They may be friends and people around me, adults, but they may see my weaknesses and they make some judgment based on what they see. And they might be competing with me for some position or affection. They are competing, and the ego within me doesn't like it at all. The ego feels very insecure with all this. Or they may say that they are better. They are so good at this. They got such a big everything, and they are making me feel insecure. Ego will feel insecure, and love becomes less. Whereas children, they are not competing with me, and they are not making any judgment. They don't see my weaknesses. Ego feels very safe. So body is also safe. They are not going to harm my body. And when I feel very safe, then lots of love for the child. So this is when our ego based in the lower consciousness, that's what happens. In higher consciousness, you are safe even if they criticize you, because you are the guest. As we gave the example before, someone says house is wrong shape and a carpet is wrong color, but you are a guest. You don't mind it at all. Same here, the invisible guest, he feels completely safe during that minute. We are talking about 1 minute you practice this, but let it be full, not half. Go for the invisible guest on this planet who doesn't own anything, not one atom on this planet. Then it is soul consciousness. But go for that quality practice just for 1 minute. And you will discover during that minute, you are secure in an absolute way. That's why you're connected to your heart and you got no enemies. No one can harm you. You are beyond harm. And all your higher emotions, feelings, they come, contentment come, lightness come. When you have emotional stability, such a rich emotional life, then your concentration is better. All of this helps you to have better clarity. You can see more clearly, and that no fog, the emotional chaos is not going on. You are able to see things more clearly. So what really happens, you are discovering the richness of the heart and the richness of the head. We all are very, very rich in this ego-based life. Everyone is leading a handicapped life, emotionally handicapped and intellectually handicapped. And everyone has the option to change it, but we cannot change it by holding on to ego. As if ego has to be made smaller. And as the eclipse of ego is removed, you will continue to experience richness, that innate richness that exists within all of us. It's radically different. It is new, completely new, and it will continue to be surprised by our potential. The process has to start. The emphasis is quality, not quantity. That's why we are talking about 1 minute, but go for quality. Yeah, if you want to add anything, it will be nice to hear.
So one thing is very clear about is that there is no security in the box. And even the secure being, when entered into the box, loses its security and when get entangled in the box. So
Yes, to expect security there is our confusion. You know, we are passing through it. It is nice to travel. It is a nice experience, but to expect that the temporary world can give us security, that is our confusion. I'll tell you one story. I like this story very much. In this story, one man was falling off a cliff. And as he was falling off, he catches hold of a tree in a branch. And he says, God, God, help, help. And there was God and nearby. And God said, I can help you, but you will have to obey me. You will have to do what I tell you. He said, no problem. I will obey you rest of my life. And I trust you so much. My life is for you. I will do anything for you. But save me now. God said, I'm very impressed. You trust me. Not many people speak like this. So it is extraordinary. You are willing to do anything. In that case, let go. He is holding to these branches. So God says, let go. So there was a long silence. And after the long silence, he said, is there anybody else there, please? God is this, I don't need this kind of help. So there was nobody else. So he has to listen to God and he has to let go. And when he let go, he discovered he was on the ground. The ground was close by. And now that he has touched the ground, he can go back on that tree again. He can go on those branches again and do the same thing he was doing before. But what's the difference? Before and now, what is the difference? Now he's playing with the branches. That's the difference. Now his life is of play. Earlier, his life was in panic. What made the difference? Knowing that he's secure. That is what made the difference. Once he touched the ground, now it was fun. So this is our story. And what are the branches for us? You want to tell? What are the branches for us?
I guess all the worldly things that we do, everyday stuff like job, the everyday living and everything are the branches for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the various things we can say, people, we are taking support. I think these people will give me eternal security of some kind. In a position, of course, they will give me eternal support of some kind. People, positions, possessions, your iPod, place, can be country, town, house, some kind of place. Pounds and pesetas, if you are in some country, and some places, maybe pubs and pizza. So various supports we are looking for in that unpredictable world. At a superficial level, we feel it is amazing support. These people are giving me amazing support, and position is giving me support. Stone intellect is deceived by this. But at a deeper level, we know these are all branches that are going to break. They are in that unpredictable world. So at a deeper level, subconscious panic is increasing. And now and then it becomes conscious. Suddenly some terrorist comes, kills somebody, shoots some schools, and suddenly you realize, oh, this is not very reliable here. But we all have the option. An option is touch the ground and discover our absolute security. But to touch the ground, you have to let go first. That is the twist in this. If it was touch the ground, whole world would have touched it and they would have come. But here, first you have to let go. That helps you to touch that ground. And for 1 minute, it is not a long thing. Even now, we are saying for 1 minute, discover that you own nothing. That invisible traveler, he doesn't own not one atom of this world. He doesn't own anyone else. They let him experience this. And that is enough. Every minute you are playing with it, you will continue to discover that ground, that secure feeling. And having touched that security, you are not running away from anything. You are coming back in this world of branches with people, position, possessions. You are not running away. But what's the difference? Now you are coming there to play. When will you perform better? When you are in panic or when you are playing? Say you have to go from Sacramento to San Francisco. Which driver will you choose? One who is in panic or one who enjoys driving? Which driver would you like to have with you?
Yeah, definitely the one who is enjoying, right?
Enjoys.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we as if give our life to a driver who is in some kind of a panic. And so it is not the most efficient quality of life. We have the option. We have the option to play. When we look at our brain, the way our brain is wired, the way it exists on the right side, left side, we are made to play. It gives us the insight. That's why natural instinct of a child is constant play. From 8 months to 8 years of age, the natural instinct of a child is play. Whatever he sees it as a toy. If you come into the room, your chair is a toy, and goes in the kitchen, he says, this is a nice pot, a nice toy. Everything is a toy for him. And why? Because we are made to play. And we will be better as an adult to use that instinct in our life. And a play has got this beautiful balance inside. He plays to win. Play is He plays to win, but he also knows how to fall, how to fail and start again. But he works hard, he has got a high goals to achieve, but he enjoys the process. So it is better for us to go through life with that energy and enjoy the process, enjoy this, even our spiritual life, even for what we are practicing. We say 1 minute, 1 minute. The word we are emphasizing, play with it for 1 minute. Even that meditation not be a little, effort or some kind of discipline. We use the energy of fun. You're playing with it, but why not? As you are playing with it, you get experience and you create another minute, play. And we use the energy of fun, play, enthusiasm, and congratulations. So if you practice even for, say, 5 minutes you practice, and you had a good concentration for 1 minute, say that you did for 1 minute. Congratulate yourself for being able to do it for 1 minute. And that is the energy we need, because it has to be sustained. The effort has to be sustained. It will be nice to hear from you now.
I want to add something. When you were telling about child, I have a child who is 9 months old, and I think you made me realize something very important. And right now, he doesn't know the value of anything. He doesn't compare stuff by values, like the price and stuff. So if we buy some toy, he doesn't want to play with the toy. He plays with whatever he likes. And I think we, as a human, we get complicated when we compare things by values, like by money, by price. Now we want to acquire something like that has higher price, but we don't enjoy playing with it. But a child doesn't know the difference between price. He just wants to play with whatever he wants to play.
Yeah, nice.
I think that's the important thing that you made me realize by giving the example of the child.
Yeah, nice. Any other thoughts?
I think that concept of being guest is very helpful, because when you are guest, then you are free from acquiring possessions and all this stuff. And another thing is one level higher of our spiritual aspect, that we all are eternal being, and we have come from eternal place and going back to eternal place and connected to eternal Father. Perhaps that will help us to have little more secure feeling, because when it is eternity, means you are not losing anything, but you have what you have is privilege, or it's your right, or it's your, kind of, you can have it kind of. So it is like less lack of security does not happen when you know the eternity, perhaps. Huh?
Yes, very nice.
But I really like the story. God said, let go, because God was knowing that you are only 1 foot away from the ground or a half a feet away from the ground.
Yeah.
So it is, we cannot see that how far I am from the ground, but God sees it. And so it's very, very important to trust and do it. Thank you. It's very, very good story.
Let us create another few moments of attention, if it is okay, and let us create some practice. And during this, let us use our best sight and best intellect. When I use the best intellect, I am able to see the alaukic world. In the alaukic world, I'm able to see the true family here. And this environment helps the true self to become conscious. He is immortal and he is from that world, true self. He is that true soul. He is the invisible traveler. He is the invisible guest here. He has a journey. He is secure. His world is secure. He can clearly see that physical world is a temporary experience for him. With this higher intellect, he can see that the physical world is a story world. The whole thing is a story, drama based on a story. And the story is harmless. In any stories, there are dragons and King Kongs, but stories are harmless. In confusion, one can create an unnecessary panic. Ego is a product of confusion, and ego has got things to worry about and complain about. But for the invisible traveler, story is harmless, and he is beyond harm. The whole thing, nothing in the three worlds can harm him, even the slightest. That's why never a victim, never a beggar, not even the slightest, and never. Whenever one realizes that he is beyond harm, when this defense mechanism is lowered, we discover the energy of play and fun. Same world appears like a fun. Every experience appears like a gift. That is why tourists enjoy more than the local. The same world, but what is the difference? They have different perspective, that's all. So invisible traveler, he feels every moment is a gift. Whether it is fog, rain, cloud, maybe end also. Something ends, something else begins. But invisible traveler is immortal. He is not harmed by the change and the end, storm or the rain. That's why these are different experiences on a roller coaster. It's a nice story, it is a nice drama, it is also a nice circus. He finds everyone in his world is immensely lovely. But they are all like this. Those who are desireless and sorrowless. They are beyond harm and they are harmless. Everyone is loving, lovely, and lucky. This is the attitude of the invisible traveler. This is what he knows. The true family is like this. Everyone is lovely, loving, and lucky. They may not even be conscious of this, but he knows the truth of everyone. He sees this truth that may help them discover their truth. He shines light on this. Very fact that there is no room for anything inauspicious in his consciousness. That also makes him feel worthy. That mind is a positive mind. He feels worthy to be loved by God, worthy to know God, worthy to have company of God. Worthy to belong to God. These are big things. Belong to God and loved by God. The invisible traveler feels it is natural. He is from that world. And that bond is eternal bond. In connection with the story, he wants to remain zero. He doesn't own anything in the story and he wants to be ego-free. But deep inside, he knows the immense greatness of everyone. Beyond the story, he knows the immense greatness. That's why it is gathering of souls, but they are angelic souls from the family of God. All that has happened, shift of consciousness. But in this consciousness, you are discovering world of truth. This is not a story anymore. It is a world of truth, world of immortality, world with God, world of love. There is true family here, silent love, and all immensely lovely, all worthy of love. In that highest consciousness, your attitude and vision, that is also highest. That itself creates the highest karma. So it becomes a region of punya, highest karma, punya. It's a region of blessings and bliss. Small change. We said making a U-turn, going in the right direction, but it takes you right to the top. World of truth and world of God and world of immortality, world of blessings and bliss. It is the biggest lottery anyone can ever find. No one can have a higher quality of life than this. Oops. Thank you very much for inviting, but it will be nice if you want to share your comments, observations. Happy to, if there is time, any questions.
I have a question.
Sure.
So the invisible guest is what we all should be. But when we were born in this society, and we are not taught to be anything about the invisible guest. We became part of, we were taught to become a part of this world. And we are kind of like, almost became, we lost our identity about being a soul. And then we are completely immersed in the world and all these worldly stuff, the relationships, the professions, positions, and everything. But and naturally, the instinct is whenever something goes wrong, we have that insecurity inside. So what I'm trying to ask is, one of the tools that I know helps me to become the invisible guest again is meditation. What are the other tools that I can use to leave all these branches, to get rid of all these branches that I have, and become myself as an individual guest again?
Yeah, very good question. Now, I might like to encourage you to draw some of the sketches we drew today and keep them in your main room.
Sure.
Images are very useful for all of us, and they give you micro experiences. Just looking at them, each time you go past them, they as if grow within us. And these are very useful. These are repeated micro experiences. They contribute to the bigger experience. As was said, once we start the process, many other things help. And the Murlis are full of lots of insights because they are coming from that highest consciousness, those words of the Murli. And once we come in that space, we are able to read in between the lines and understand what Baba is meaning. Same Murli will be heard in a different way. But to start the process is creating that quality experience.
Sure, thank you.
Om Shanti. I have one question that Baba talks in Murli about the trustee relationship all the time. So how is your traveler and invisible traveler relationship related to the trustee relationship of the Murli, which Baba talks
Yes,
about?
yeah, nice question. Like right now, I'm a guest here in this room. I'm a guest, and I'm using these different devices. Using this and using many things here. I don't own anything here, but during this hour, I'm a trustee. I'm responsible for it. If some child was to come with a hammer on to break this, I will protect this. I will prevent the child creating any damage. So same is we are trustees of many things, including the body. The soul is a trustee whilst we are here. But the soul knows that he can't own one atom from here. He doesn't need to own anything.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Shanti, Dr. Prashant. Well, we certainly would like to thank you so much for being with us today. And you have given us a gift of a different perspective. And it all boils down to thinking out of the box. And so I'm appreciative of that. And the soul is safe. I really like that very much. That concept of the soul is safe. And also, too, I'm a guest. And I came empty handed and I will leave empty handed. And this was reminded me of a bit of history in the Alexander the Great. They have these different stories of him leaving the body and how he did that. And so I came with nothing and I will leave with nothing except this beautiful internal consciousness that you were speaking of today. And so I so appreciate your time. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prashant Bhai. Appreciate it a lot, bringing the clarity. Thank you.
We'll meet again when you are going to Madhuban. Very welcome to stop here and definitely visit Cambridge. It is freezing these days. It may not be as warm as Sacramento. Global warming has not reached here. Om Shanti. Good night. Good night from here and have a good day.
Om Shanti. And thank you so much for the lesson today. It's really like immense for me. I had a really good experience and I learned a lot from you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prashant. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Sister, you're muted.
I think Hangsa sister is muted, so we are not hearing anything from Hangsa sister.
Yes, sorry, I was muted. Okay. So anyway, whoever is first time here can contact us. And tomorrow we will have a 8 to 9 meditation and 8 to 9 Murli and 9 to 10 meditation. And whoever joined from Anubhuti and San Francisco also welcome, and we are sure you enjoyed it. We appreciate cooperation from Vaishali Ben, Hema Ben, and Sukanya Ben. Om Shanti. See you soon. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti.